first saved message.
George! Good morning. Kevin here. I just got off the phone with Vic. He said that you and he decided to do a Doctor Who episode. I'm going to call that episode Doctor Why. Did you try to convince Vic that Doctor Who is not one movie? I'm pretty sure we cannot boil that stuff down into one episode. But, I don't know. You tell me. That's what you're going to do. Because I've seen 30 seconds of the Doctor Who content in my life. But, okay, Doctor Who, what, when, where, and why. See you soon. Bye.
End of message.
Busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies do sci-fi.
Okay. Did you hear that car alarm?
Yeah.
That
It's not...
intern
Did
Tony?
it come through on the recording?
I don't think it came through. No.
Running away
Running away. Trying to get away.
at 8:58. Oh, no, that's the clock.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Evening.
Yeah.
Morning. We're
We're morning, evening.
okay. I'm George.
I'm Kevin.
We're bombastic, daring denizens searching Fords.
Fjords!
Fjords!
What was
God! Why did I say
Did it,
Fords?
well, it begs the question, is that Tony's car? Intern Tony? Is that his
Intern
car
Tony's
thing?
car.
Or did he not know how to spell fjord?
Tells us he doesn't like. It's in my car. Go get it, and you end up searching his Ford.
Do you notice how he told us he'd crank these out, and now we're hard pressed to get one out of him every 2 weeks?
out of him every 2 weeks. Yeah, he's doing the best he can, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of forced to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. So he's doing the best he can.
I mean, yeah.
You know, Fjords, it's funny because when I first read Bombastic Daring Denizens Searching Fords, I thought of Ford Prefect from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Which I have no frame of reference to.
He's an alien who comes to Earth, assumes that cars are the dominant species, so he names himself Ford Prefect. But
Very
you just
cool.
said Fjord,
Yeah.
and that's another Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference, because Slarty Bartfast, the guy who designed the planet Earth, got an award for designing the fjords in Norway.
Yes.
Yes.
I just finished reading American Gods.
You did?
Yes.
Wow, you went back.
What do you mean I went back?
You had read it before.
Started and began. No.
Oh, okay.
No. Is that the medication talking?
Probably.
We talked.
Which
We talked
medication?
last week.
Yeah, we did.
The ones that you take as prescribed by a doctor. Remember, we've been through this.
Wink. So that was me telegraphing a wink.
It's a,
Sci-fi book, American Gods. That's a tough one.
no.
Probably not. Probably not.
No.
Yeah, guess not. Doesn't.
I mean,
really
it's
matter.
it's fantasy.
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, come on, there's gods.
Yeah, but
There's
there's
realms.
technological
There's realms.
gods. There's
Well, so then you're kind of maybe getting into some Matrixy William Gibson term, but no, those are bit players, if you ask me. It's gods. There's a realm.
I love that Neil Gaiman had a little quote when that book came out saying, like, everything you're going to read in this is obviously a fictionalization. None of the characters are real. Only the gods are real.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty cool.
they're real.
Yeah.
You've watched some of the shows now?
I've got all the episodes so far. I think there are 3 out. I got those under my belt right now. Wow, a lot of nudity, a lot of sex,
A lot of nudity and sex.
a lot of. I mean, not even
the
like
book's not even. I don't think the book even has that in it.
No, they went full on like
Full frontal on this one.
I mean, full front like
Deeply.
This is deeply, madly,
Balls deeply.
ball. There's a lot of balls in this show. Yeah, they kind of adapted
we did this
it for
before
the.
minute 3? Where are we?
Where are we now?
The timer's not on.
It's 3
Did Tony
minutes.
set the timer?
3 minutes. Tony,
Intern
hit
Tony.
the timer button.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So anytime we look at that timer, we just have to add 3 minutes to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Typical.
It's like the clock that always says 8:58.
We're 3 minutes in. We're already talking about balls.
Yeah, and
can you get over the clock?
No,
please?
I think you. I mean, our studio is full of items from the realms of science fiction and comics, and I have thought that is a prop somehow stolen from like when the Enterprise went to Earth or something.
Yeah, that's it's one of the clocks from the Twilight Zone episode where Burgess Meredith breaks his glasses.
Exactly. You see why I might be confused.
And he hangs on to it, and he's like, that's not fair. He just broke. That was terrifying. That one.
I don't remember that one.
Oh,
I haven't seen many of these.
The Twilight Zone. Burgess Meredith.
I don't know. No, no face there. Burgess Meredith. Is that a man or a woman?
It's a man.
See, that sounds like a woman's name. That sounds like a 50s woman's name.
Like
Burgess, she's a beautiful darling.
Burgess will be over at 4.
Yeah.
Burgess Meredith
Bernadette
has really thick glasses, and he loves to read.
Oh, the reader one. You don't say Burgess Meredith.
Except I do, because he's the star of that fucking episode. So that's why I say Burgess Meredith. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did I say again? Our studio is adorned with comic and collector's paraphernalia.
I broke Kevin's rules there. You don't say Burgess Meredith. The name of the episode is Time Enough at Last.
You especially don't say Burgess Meredith 3 times in a minute.
We've gone from balls to Burgess Meredith. I don't think we could more appropriately.
Thank you. Good night. Great podcast.
Burgess Meredith, he was quite a... that's 4 times. Quite a character actor. It appeared in a lot of different shows. You know what show he never, ever appeared in, Kevin?
Hold on. I think
it's probably more than one that he never
the Twilight Zone.
Oh, jeez.
Because it never happened.
Like it never happened.
Yeah.
All right. There's a universe in which the Twilight Zone never happened. You know what show that is? We're talking about Doctor Who.
I spoiled your Doctor Who segue. I thought you were going to fight through.
Oh, man.
Doctor Who.
TARDIS.
We've arrived. What episode will this be? 38?
This is 39.
39 episodes, folks, and we have been finally forced to talk about Doctor Who.
I got my fez on. I got my
your fez?
My mop over my shoulder.
Is this? Are you now mentioning
wearing a bow tie here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've
got a clock that says 8:58 and it's stuck that way always because of episode 237.
I'm wearing my Englishman dandy cape so that I can fence the master.
Oh yeah.
Badly.
I'm wearing a stick of celery on my lapel right now.
I gotta tell you,
and it's good for the teeth.
You called me. You texted me a couple of maybe 2 months ago and said, "Why has the 5th Doctor got celery on his lapel?" And I got really excited. I got really, really pumped because I knew kind of what had happened. You'd been checking out some Doctor Who. I did not know it was because your son, BW, 7 years old, is he's into Doctor Who, and he wanted to go to school dressed as his hero. Is that what it was?
His hero. Yeah. What's a kid really know though? But still, at that moment,
hell of a lot.
His hero.
You could do a lot worse than the Doctor from Doctor Who.
For the hero, I know he could be a fireman.
Yeah,
I want to be a fireman. Or a cop. I'm going to dress up as a cop or a judge. Or a teacher. I'm going to dress as a teacher.
Fireman. I don't know any firemen who've been to the planet Mondas.
No. No. They've been to Planet Macaroni and Cheese.
Yeah. Planet Chili on the couch because there's no fires going on.
Yeah. Go clean the tires. And
way to go. And play with
the hose.
Play with your Dalmatian, you losers. They're actually probably really, really selfless and heroic, and they should probably acknowledge that. Firemen.
Yeah.
Lazy fireman. I got nothing there.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock. Knock on
knock.
glass. Who's there?
9/11.
I don't know if I can tell you how wide my eyes just went.
Knock, knock.
Nah. Who's there?
9/11.
9/11 who?
I thought you'd never fucking forget.
Oh, man. All right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You know what I
now
love?
We Could Be Heroes by Bowie slowly fades up and I sell you a Toyota.
Is that a Bowie song? We Could Be Heroes?
Who cares?
It
sells Toyotas.
Or
lemonade.
So you were reminded of that joke by all the firemen who died on September 11th? Is that where we're going here?
I can't remember.
Okay, Doctor Who. Doctor Who. I've waited so long for this podcast, and I think Kevin is determined to just spend the time.
George wrote a monologue. It's going to be one of the most riveting podcasts you'll ever listen to.
Doctor, oh Doctor.
By George. Co-written by intern Tony.
He's
Typos and
gonna
all.
start playing the guitar in the background any second now. We're doing a Doctor Who podcast. Now, I think for a lot of people, Doctor Who and science fiction kind of go hand in hand. I don't think you're one of those people who immediately make that jump to... I mean, I'm not saying that in a you're wrong or anything type way.
Yes.
I just think you work in a lot of other realms outside of Doctor Who. Doctor Who, BBC television series, started in 1963. The broad strokes is that it is about an alien named the Doctor, who is a Time Lord. He travels through time and space in what looks like a 1960s police telephone box.
And you know that he travels in a telephone box, police box.
Yes.
However, that he's an alien is, I think, already way more than most people know.
I think you're right, yeah. In fact, there were two movies, American movies, starring Peter Cushing as the Doctor.
The names. I'm just glazing
Peter
over.
Cushing played Grand Moff Tarkin in...
Grandma Tarkin?
Grandma Tarkin, who used to hang out with Burgess Meredith. Yeah. They'd get together and play canasta. Peter Cushing played Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars. He was the governor who...
No, I know.
Okay,
yeah.
Now you know.
No, I know Grandma Tarkin. I don't know Peter Cushing.
Grand Moff Tarkin. Oh... You know what I love? I'm going over to Billy Tarkin's house, and Grandma's there.
Playing canasta with Burgess Meredith.
But anyway, there were, in those movies, Peter Cushing plays a human named the Doctor, and they were like American versions of Doctor Who that they made in the late 60s. It was called Doctor Who and the Daleks. And the Dalek invasion. And the way they got away with that was because the guy who created the Daleks, this guy Terry Nation, he actually owns the rights to the Daleks, not the BBC. So he came to America and said, I'm making some Daleks movies, baby. And they said, okay, but you can't use the Doctor from Doctor Who. He's like, okay, I'm just going to make a human and call him the Doctor. So weird. In those movies, weird. Not considered part of canon. He's not considered part of the Doctors in Doctor Who. It's actually kind of a sore subject. Amongst
it is.
Boy, I'm
Nerd
fuming.
rage.
I'm
Nerd
fuming
rage.
just thinking about it right now.
You did this to yourself.
I do everything to myself, right?
Yeah.
So you're right. I think most people don't even know. He's a several thousand-year-old at this point, Time Lord. Mm-hmm. He doesn't die. He can die. Given enough force and quickness of it, the Doctor can die. But the deal is, when he gets injured enough where a normal person might die, instead he regenerates. He becomes a brand new person.
Yes.
And they started this as a way of just continuing the series when the first actor who played the Doctor, William Hartnell, just got too friggin' old to keep playing the part. So they've kept it going, and there have been 13 guys that have played the Doctor officially.
Because William Hurt plays him in a movie, there's only 12 Doctors that we know about.
Right.
There hasn't been the 13th Doctor yet.
There's officially 12 Doctors. Well, no, there are 13. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, John Hurt is not.
So when me and the boy were talking about this podcast that I'm going to record here right now, the wife got involved. And she said, yes, very interesting. probably the one of the most unique science fiction shows on television. However, there has not been a woman doctor ever.
There has not, no.
And I went, do you want people to take their iPods and smash them on the ground because of boredom? Yes. Oh, and then there's been some dim-witted. What's Tegan and Sarah and all those
companions?
Companions.
Yeah.
Companions.
Yeah.
I telegraphed a wink. I can't wink. I had to squeeze my eyes shut because I'm so high on sugar.
He really didn't wink. It was like this awkward,
I was sitting there going
awkward stare.
Like, what the hell is this telegraphing a wink thing, George? Is telegraphing a wink?
We're not going back to that. That was what I was saying.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
Is telegraph a radio term?
No.
No.
It's a telegraph term. It's an old form of communication.
But all you did was wink. And then
winked.
you said, I'm telegraphing a wink. So I'm like, maybe this guy knows some industry jargon.
Kevin, I use words wrong all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
For
the most part, people just let me get away with it.
Yeah. Is that... Yesterday morning I saw you and I said, hello, man. You said, I'm constipated.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
You meant you were going to...
No. I was actually constipated.
Oh.
Yeah. I was telling you what was up. Oh.
This is confusing.
Well, life is confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Who is confusing. And
I know.
There has actually kind of unofficially been a female doctor.
So she was playing doctor?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about sexy time here. All right. I love Doctor Who.
Yes.
I was introduced to it. I'm not one of those guys who got on board when I was a kid. I was aware of that Doctor Who existed, but I thought he was always Tom Baker. Like, I thought it was just the long scarf doctor. And when I was probably around 26 years old, let's see, it was relaunched in 2005, so 26, 27. My friend Justin introduced me and said, hey, you got to start watching Doctor Who. And then I found out that there's this show called Doctor Who that has, at the time, almost 50 years of history to it. And
it's a little overwhelming.
It is. It's a lot overwhelming. But when you tell me that, like the guy who I used to really love to watch series very quickly and like master them. Like I like to master things and then move on. I can kind of never master this. Like I can really kind of never.
Why not?
Fully, because there's so much material, man. There's so much material. They're making new ones all the time too. Like it's still going and going well. I mean, I've been watching it on some level for over like almost 10 years, and I feel like I've still kind of only scratched the surface. Like I haven't seen all the old episodes. I've seen like a good amount of them, but there's just a ton of stuff out there.
Well, the old ones are black and white, right?
Old
ones.
60th,
their old ones are black and white.
Like the first two Doctors were in black and white, and most of those
those can't be good.
Most of those are lost, too.
They're lost.
Gone. What happened was the BBC, the show was like, they're like, all right, well, we need to use these tapes.
Yeah.
So we're going to record over them. And the shows were just gone. They just did that back in the day. Like, They just take things and record over them. So most of them are just gone. And a lot of them exist as audio recordings of fans who would just record their TVs. Because there were, even back then, like fans who were like, oh, this is so good. I don't, hopefully someday someone will invent something like a VCR. But for right now, I've got this giant audio recorder, and I'll put it next to my TV and record the audio. And I just think about like that level of geekdom, even back then in the 1960s, like guys and kids putting the microphone, recording Doctor Who, and then getting some buddies and being like, "Hey, come over, we can listen to Doctor Who tonight." Like I love that. So yeah, most of
most of our listeners are getting together in their homes and listening to busy dads.
Yeah, I don't think most people realize that you can access this anytime you want on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More
power to them, though, man. I mean, people do that for all the great stuff, man. There was Lost Parties.
There were Lost Parties, right?
Yeah, and we're getting into some TV with some bizarre twists, maybe some time traveling and stuff like
There's
this.
still Game of Thrones parties. and
Years
things
later,
like that.
Game of Thrones. But maybe not so much on the Doctor Who party. You think people are doing Doctor Who parties?
I had some Doctor Who parties.
Whoa.
I threw some season premiere and some Christmas episode
Whoa,
parties.
Christmas episodes.
Oh,
Those are
yeah,
good. The
yeah,
eggnoggers.
Oh yeah, those.
Hey, whoa.
Come on over.
Yeah.
I would put up a list.
Xerox
of
your ass in the TARDIS.
I'm sure
It's
somewhere.
got a Xerox
I'm sure
machine,
somewhere
right?
there's a Xerox machine.
Yeah.
In the TARDIS.
Because the TARDIS, hold on, that's okay. There's so much going on here. There's a larger question here: is why does a science fiction podcast have a Doctor Who episode? Listener, you answer that question for us. In the meantime, there's some who, what, when, where, and whys going on. So that police telephone booth is a giant spaceship.
Yeah.
How big is the spaceship? Its dimensions? Are there ground plans for it, like in fan world stuff?
There's been fan speculation about how big it is. We do know that it's finite. There were some rumors that maybe it's just infinite because it's technically another dimension, but that's not true. It has a weight that has been mentioned before. It has. We know that the rooms can be added and deleted as they go. If he needs to pick up some speed, he can lose some rooms.
So how big do they think it is?
I don't know offhand. It's huge.
Well,
huge enough to have a library, rooms across a swimming pool. You know,
there are star huggers and light huggers and whatever the names are that are 4 kilometers long and sleep 200,000 in cryosleep.
Okay.
And those are massive to think about. And you can't even build those on a planet with gravity.
Those have the physical dimensions of being 4 kilometers long, right?
Right.
You look at it from outside, which it doesn't matter because it's in space. So, 4 kilometers doesn't matter. It's fucking space. It's huge.
Right.
But it looks like it's 4 kilometers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
One who knows what a kilometer is could approach the spaceship and go, that's maybe 4 of those.
Well, we all know metric is universal.
Totally.
Yeah. They make some kind of funny jokes about like what the TARDIS actually is. One time I remember him saying the hardest part was getting the outside to fit over the inside. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like those little jokes. Because it looks like basically the TARDIS has a device called a chameleon circuit. Which is a cloaking device. When the TARDIS lands on a planet, it will search out some piece of the environment to look like and camouflage itself as though it just belongs.
Yes.
The Doctor stole an old TARDIS with a broken chameleon circuit. So it landed on Earth in 1963, and it found the shape of a police telephone box, and since then has been stuck in the shape of a police telephone box. And it's just it's kind of indicative of the charm.
Why did he steal it?
He claims he was bored.
A Time Lord is bored. What should a Time Lord be doing if he's not stealing Gallifreyan time traveling machines?
They go back and forth between whether or not Time Lords, other than the Doctor, he is consistently described as a renegade Time Lord. And they go back and forth about whether or not other Time Lords are some level of nefarious.
And how often does he get caught for meddling, even though in the episodes he says, I shouldn't be meddling?
Yeah. He has been actually tried by his people. There was an entire, 2 series where he was stranded on Earth. They took away his ability to fly.
A TARDIS?
A TARDIS. Yeah. Well, they took away the TARDIS's ability, and he worked for a Earth-based
software firm?
Alien, yeah. It's like a cubicle monkey. Yeah. Just like hanging out.
Yeah.
Cracking
His
jokes
cell phone
about being 800 years old.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get invited to Andrew's party or whatever, no big deal. I've just met Catherine the Great,
Yeah. This Xerox machine isn't like the one at the TARDIS Christmas
machine.
parties.
Let me just take my knickers down. Because he'd say knickers because it's British.
Yes.
But he worked for the Third Doctor. He worked for Unified Intelligence Task Force, which was an Earth-based UN alien finding group. So he's gotten in a lot of trouble for doing what he does. The Time Lords name themselves. They give themselves their own names.
I remember that, yes.
So he's called himself the Doctor, and that's pretty much supposed to be he's the guy who helps people. And that's kind of what he's always been about. They've never written.
Does that make him a kadoosh bag?
Why the K?
Caduceus? Yeah, you can see that I know a lot about Doctor Who, whereas George doesn't. So he's scrambling to make jokes
Kevin,
during this episode.
You're doing just fine, man. Nobody noticed until you pointed it out, and you were just plugging along here.
Listener, Tom Baker, Fourth Doctor, was the Doctor of my childhood. So if it was on PBS, it was watched. Like George explained, I kind of thought that's where it left off. But knowing now what I know about Doctor Who, I have probably seen 1/50th of the content.
Yeah.
My boy loves Doctor Who. He's seen 1/60th because there's one episode he didn't complete watching. But other than that, I've sat and watched them with him, and they're fun, and it's really enjoyable to watch with him. And there are times when, even in their cheesy way, it's frightening and enthralling, because maybe a 7-year-old shouldn't be watching that. But that being said, I don't really feel like I have much to offer in the world of Doctor Who. My boy, however, what I've picked up about it is that my boy has there's tons of Doctor Who books, encyclopedias of the world, encyclopedias of the monster, the friends and the foes, and my boy has made a study of Doctor Who, though he's not doing the watching that one might do before the studying. And so he's into all the paper content of it, and it's a pretty amazing ride, because in and of itself is a universe, and he's learning it. And I think that's pretty interesting. We went to the park. Me and Kevin and our sons go to the park every now and then, and I made a joke in passing when he had a ball with him, and I said, "Well, you got a toclophane there?" And he said, And I remember getting a little like, B-Dub doesn't know what a toclophane is. I'm about to, lace him. And I go, "Do you know what a toclophane is?" Yeah, final evolution of mankind, And I was kind of overwhelmed with like some level of joy, because I have first of all, I've known Kevin's son for quite a few years, and seen him grow and seen him go through like some of the phases that kids go through, and maybe landing on something like Doctor Who, something that is so near and dear to my heart, kind of confirmed for me like what I had already felt about it, and that's that this type of stuff, and not just Doctor Who, but a lot of science fiction in general, it speaks to like the little kid in me. It speaks to that really, really innocent, childlike aspect of me that believes that like good can triumph over evil, and that you find something you believe in and you fight for it. And that's kind of what Doctor Who's all about. Like I heard it probably best explained, I think Craig Ferguson on his late night show, who's also like a huge Doctor Who fan, but he said that the show is at its heart all about the triumph of intellect and romance over brute force and cynicism. And even from someone who can get like pretty cynical at times, I think that's you were Craig.
Just. Oh no, I was talking about Craig.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Huh.
We can't even. We actually don't even have a solid definition of cynical
No.
on this podcast, do we?
Probably using that word wrong too.
Yeah.
I think that's like just a beautiful way to put exactly what this show is. I mean, and it goes down to like his kind of like love affair with the planet Earth, and how he believes human beings can kind of always be doing better than they are, which is, you know, sort of something that like I think a lot of people believe. A lot of people sort of believe that like we're doing an all right job in some areas, but we could be doing better. You know, like holding ourselves to the ideal that the Doctor sees us capable of.
I don't know enough to like. I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Believe
You know
you've
what I
come
mean.
to understand that. I have seen a pretty recurring theme, which is petty humans and their treachery are always
Right.
getting in the way of some larger scheme. And what I'm impressed by the alien aspect of Doctor Who is that he pretty much sees eye to eye with the other alien species that they inevitably bump into. And he's like, look, these people are idiots. I need to cut a deal with you. And usually he somehow tricks them and helps the humans, but the humans always have to come to understand they first of all, it must really suck to appear out of time in front of humans all the time and be like, no, I'm here for good. And I'm not trying to turn your army over to another army. And
Guys,
so every episode he has to like convince people that he's not there to like kill them.
Google the Doctor, all right? You're gonna see that I'm pretty cool. But that's kind of what I mean, is that like he is kind of always like, always going like, oh, humanity, like, you know, you guys are constantly doing the things that are easiest and not the things that are best. So when they're in situations where it's like an alien shows up, he knows humans they're gonna fuck this up.
Yeah.
You know? Like these guys are gonna fuck this up because they're not what I know they can be. You know, they're barbaric and they're similar. So it's like episode to episode, there's always back and forth between like him finding an individual who exemplifies everything that's really, really great about humanity, and then another episode where it's just like, well, there's a confirmation of everything that sucks.
Well, so let's leap a little bit. A fraction of the fraction I've seen of Doctor Who was spent in the 10th or 11th Doctor, and these episodes in a sort of reboot. George, how long of a pause was there before? Didn't Doctor Who kind of fall out of its momentum or something?
The series ended in 1989. Then there was a TV movie on Fox in 1996, and that was the only appearance of the 8th Doctor. And then it picked up again with the 9th Doctor in 2005. So,
yeah, a little bit of dormancy, and then technology has brought us to a place where creatures leave everyone knows the coffee can and plunger joke about Doctor Who, and the creatures have left that realm. And there's a more fright and scare tactic that goes on them, and scare tactic's the wrong word. They're scarier. They're able to be scarier, and it seems the writers have come from a darker place, maybe?
I think these guys kind of grew up with Doctor Who, you know, and like are telling a little bit more serious stories now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that what you just described about his love affair with Earth, is that still going on by this newer batch?
Only for the most part that like he is, almost all of his companions have been human. He's on Earth. For a guy who like can go throughout the entire universe, one end to the next, spends a lot of time on Earth. Spends a lot of time in England on Earth. And yeah, there's obviously real...
Why is that?
Why could it be that a television show
that
is shot in the UK, it spends so much time in Britain?
That's crazy.
What the hell?
It's crazy talk.
It's silly. It's silly. But I mean, but there's kind of like 4th Doctor, 5th Doctor, he would a lot get in the TARDIS, show up on a random spaceship. I feel like they've toned that down a little bit more in the newer stuff, like especially this last Doctor, who's actually, I think he's doing a great job. But like, I was introduced with David Tennant.
He's no Meredith Burgess.
No,
Burgess Meredith.
I love that you did that. That makes complete sense now. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Professor Meredith Burgess, let them eat cake. So, Doctor Who, been around. It's the longest running sci-fi television show. You know.
Oh, that's why we're doing the episode?
I would say, like, how could you have a sci-fi podcast and not at some point talk about
I
Doctor
think
Who?
what I'm trying to say is, if you're listening to this podcast, haven't you done the Doctor Who thing yet? Probably not. Because I think we have a diverse range of listeners.
You hadn't done the Doctor Who thing yet. And,
Yeah.
And you, I would say, like, Adam, God bless his soul, probably hadn't done the Doctor Who thing. Right? Like, I think there's
he had done the
of...
Doctor Who thing.
Oh, he had? Okay. I think there's a lot of guys who are into science fiction
Adam,
who...
telegraph us your answer.
You actually will.
Whatever telegraph means to you.
But I think there's a lot of guys who consider Doctor Who to be kind of kiddie shit.
Yes.
And that's okay. That's totally okay.
But I don't think that's the case. But why is that? Because that's what I'm kind of talking about. Like, we've been sort of looking at things and having the ability to step back and go, comics, why the fuck are we talking about it? Mm-hmm. Doctor Who, why? I mean, I get it. There's a spaceship.
Yeah.
It's simple. That's obviously not what we're talking about. Kiddie shit, why?
Inherent cheesiness. That's
because of the cheesiness.
Inherent cheesiness that you kind of have to get over if you... Well, I'm speaking for myself. That I kind of have to get over if I want to enjoy these episodes.
Which would be the same for comics.
You know, which would be the same for comics. Which would be the same for lots of things that I like. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Cheesy as hell, man.
Careful.
Cheesy as hell. But I get over that, and I find, these characters have really great story arcs. And these stories are fascinating, man. And everybody changes and then comes together. So same with Doctor Who. It's like I get past the cheesiness. I get past the coffee can and the plunger and that type of stuff. And what I find are like some really good science fiction stories that maybe involve a little bit about the human condition, maybe involve a little bit about learning some lesson. But I recognize that there's a level of I'm struggling for a word other than immaturity to the storytelling, but that's kind of what it is. It's kind of like these are it's pie, and maybe
What's
not
pie?
Like it's pie. It's like it tastes really good, but it's not like I don't know, chocolate. It's not like a friggin'. It's not Stranger in a Strange Land, you know.
Well, and that's what I obviously read the books, and
it's the only book I've read this year.
Yeah. Oh, they know. They know. You should see some of the emails that intern Tony forwards to me these days.
Yeah, he doesn't give those to me. He knows better than to give.
You
them
probably
to
get
me.
a whole different batch of them from him. He's up to. I get
nothing but the fan mail from him.
Speaking of Buffy,
You've seen his jacket, right? His Buffy jacket.
That is his daughter's, dude.
No, he's got a Buffy jacket. It just says
BFS.
Don't on the sleeve.
I don't even know what. I'm not even going to put that
cool.
together.
It's got a stake in the back.
Well, this will kind of make sense then. So, there's a show on the CW. The CW, by the way, I've had the luxury of working the CW's upfronts. You'll never have a more cold feeling until they talk about you and your demographic and how they're going to get this stuff across to you.
Interesting.
However, the 100, intern Tony says this is the greatest stuff. So I tell my wife about it. He sells me on it. He says I should start watching it. We should talk about it in the podcast.
This is the 100. Is that it's like that YA novel shit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I kind of thought he'd kind of maybe pick up on the fact that this wasn't going to work from the get-go, considering BDDSF's stance on such pap.
Pap. Yet here we are talking Doctor Who. Yeah.
Well, clearly, to make a American Gods reference, if Anubis was weighing the heart of Doctor Who, it's going to balance out on that scale with a feather.
You have done well.
Right?
Yeah.
But for the 100, no.
No.
It's not. I talking about being the reader.
Uh-huh.
I'm sitting and watching this shit, and like part of me is like, it's just only television. It's just, of course, it's going to be like this, and I'm like, no, there has to be better television. That's got to be this, but it's an abuse of the stories.
So I'm picturing
Like, so-
CW. It's obviously young
So yeah, they're
20-year-olds that are really pretty.
Yeah. Intern Tony's like, it's like
Tony.
it's a bunch of there's a limited resources, and there's like a spaceship, and they're up there, but all the criminals get sent down to Earth because there was a nuclear disaster about 100 years ago. But the criminals are kids,
He loves this. He loves this stuff.
and I go,
He loves that stuff
That's
where
what we
it's
turn
kids.
on though. The criminals are 22-year-old hunks.
Oh, they're
with
not even kids.
Great
Yeah,
abs
right,
or tits.
right.
Yeah. And
He loves
shallow
it.
as all fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's supposed to happen here, but there's like mutants on the planet. And
Are there,
the
like-
mutants are ripped too? It's like, come on, man.
It's like Taylor Lautner.
It's like that's the most beautiful mutant man I've ever seen.
Beautiful mutant guy ever, man. I'm willing to bet there's going to be like their misunderstood love affair between one of the mutants and one of the criminals.
It's the father.
Yeah. All these criminals.
I can tell.
All these criminals are so good looking.
But
This show is great. I could just see him sitting there with his Jolt Cola.
I don't even know what the fuck. It's just that same thing. It's like there are arc ships. There are colony ships. There's a couple different names over the years that Sci-Fi's used.
Yeah.
One of the Doctor Who's I just watched
Pulling from that
was
well
was
of
called
science
Frontios, and there was a an arc ship that had been attracted to a planet. Anyways, that should be intriguing, right? And what happens is I don't, it doesn't really grab me. It makes me think of Battlestar Galactica, which I think was good sci-fi television. The reboot.
The reboot. The reboot was very good sci-fi television.
The old one's like Doctor Who.
No.
Oh!
No.
But see how
The
it
old
looks?
one. But how it looks, that's the thing. You have to get over. I mean, you get over the crappy aluminum foil Cylons, and you're left with kind of shitty sci-fi television. Like, I feel like you get over this stuff with Doctor Who, you're left with some pretty good stories. You're left with it's very much I feel like substance over style.
Or in the elements too.
Who.
So one of the coolest things about Doctor Who, and knowing it's 55 years old, is if there's a guy my age writing sci-fi, it is completely possible that by the age 7, like my boy, he began watching these.
Right. Yeah.
And so any word that he writes or she writes, Nora, will be
one day.
will be influenced by this. So I would love to, the components. Like, I don't think he's the first. I don't think those writers were the first guys to do colony ships.
Yeah.
Telepathy, the styles of aliens that could come up. I mean, everything had to be bipedal, basically, but when you have actors working on a set, but it's it just makes me wonder how much of the well that people pull from is from the Doctor Who zone and all its content.
Yeah, and
because the fans would be like, "Wow, let's gotta use that."
It's funny because you don't find a tremendous amount of things on television that you could trace a line back to Doctor Who. I have heard a lot of people say, like, "Oh, you like Doctor Who? You'd really like Red Dwarf." Have you ever seen any Red Dwarf?
No, but I know about it.
It's crap. I mean, it's just not a good show. But there's a lot of it out there, and I think that's why people really, really like it. It's like there's a ton of it, But like the more whimsical. I mean, Doctor Who for me goes hand in hand with like Mystery Science Theater 3000. Something like that. Like you follow that line between Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We already talked about. I mean, Douglas Adams was a writer on Doctor Who. For
Alistair Reynolds has written a Doctor Who book.
He wrote a Doctor
and
Who
I was
book.
wondering about it. I'm curious to read the Doctor Who book by him. I've just begun Absolution Gap, the another part of the Revolution space world.
They're talking about Revolution Space all over Reddit right now. They're talking in the Reddit Sci-Fi.
Really?
Yeah. You should
What
check
are
out
they
that
doing?
forum. And
What are they
actually
talking about?
I don't know. I don't click on them because I haven't fucking read them.
But you've read
It
it.
doesn't say anything about my name. So
Yeah.
fucking,
Yeah.
Hey,
Maybe they're making
hey,
a movie or something.
We
but
found nudes of George from Busy Dads Do Sci-Fi.
here, you know what? Why don't you just post
They're
some
not
of
that
those
hard to find.
yourself,
All right.
and then we'll see what sort of stuff we get.
My entire 20-year decade was the decade of my 20s was just like filled with nothing but nude photography. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm kidding,
And
of course.
then they
And
caught
Doctor-
you in their bushes in front of their house.
And
Yes.
Doctor Who. Yeah, David Tennant, the 10th Doctor. He's like, get out of here.
The names, George. The names.
What?
David Tennant.
Grandma
Moffat.
I used to convince myself I was still doing all right
Yeah.
if I could still name in my head every actor who played the Doctor. Like, that was my test for myself.
So this
Like,
is,
this was
this
some
is
of
all
the,
trauma we're
this is some of
exposing.
the, this is
in
some
other
of the,
words.
some of the darker
Yeah.
years. That if I could go through my head and I could go William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, John Hurt, kind of, and Peter Capaldi.
And you're like, whew, I'm ready to
God.
drive.
All right. Give me the key.
Yeah, give me the keys. I can do it backwards, officer. Yeah.
Sir, I asked you to recite the alphabet. Get in the car.
You're a Star-Lord is what you are, man. Yeah. You're pretty TARDIS.
You're retarded. You cop.
Oh,
Where's your police
man.
box, man?
Yeah.
So I
But
don't.
so hey, I want it. So the names. That's sort of like reading the liner notes and being able to say who played sax on Coltrane's "My Funny Valentine."
That's
Some
cool. I
crap.
like that it's that cool. Yeah.
What do you think it is? Well, is there any flex? I mean, if in the world of the hustle and bustle of the comic and collector and fan world, I mean, obviously you ain't shit if you don't know this stuff, right?
If you like Doctor Who, but you've only seen since 2005, get out of here. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Hey, take your ball. Take your ball and go home, man. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen An Unearthly Child? You know who Susan Foreman is? No? Buzz off, pal. Me and my wife used to have a blog called Playing in Gravel Quarries. This
Yes.
was years ago, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we would review, starting from the first episode, we would review Doctor Who episodes. We would sit down. This is before, kids and everything that's happened. And, we would sit down, watch Doctor Who, and type out reviews of them. And I would go to, Doctor Who conventions. And there'd be people who are like, "Oh, you're George from Playing in Gravel Quarries." You know?
What's Playing with Gravel Quarries?
Well, the joke is that a lot of Doctor Who's planets were just local gravel quarries.
Oh, yes,
and stuff. So it was Playing in Gravel Quarries, and it was good times.
Good times, yeah.
Man. Yeah. When I had
It's brave
time.
of you to admit that in public.
Oh, because I don't want to betray the.
Are those still on the internet somewhere?
No, I've got them all on my. I took the site down. Yeah.
There's a
they've gotta
nerd
be-
who's transcribed them.
They've got to
though.
be somewhere. I've got
Yeah.
all the data and stuff still. I've got all.
How many
data
episodes did you get through?
and stuff? Man, we got
3?
we got through a lot. We got through most of the first Doctor, I think. So
The ones that are black and white that you
yeah,
listen to
they
audio
were rough,
stuff?
man. They were rough.
That's you're like, wow, man, we could have started at least when there was color images. Or you sure you want to still do this, honey? Yes,
Oh.
I love you, George.
Boy, sweat in my brow
Oh God!
every day. It's gonna be the greater good. One day we're gonna be billionaires.
How many episodes of Doctor Who are there?
I don't know offhand. I'm sorry.
533.
No, can't be. I don't think it's that many.
10 doctors times 40? 400?
I don't know. I really don't know offhand. Don't know. I have them all.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I know that they used to be broken up into serials, so there'd be like the 10th Planet, and it'd be 4-hour-long episodes.
Yeah, the ones that we have from Doctor Number 4 are 20-minute episodes. Usually there's 4 that tell the story.
Yeah, that's awesome. So did we answer why a Sci-Fi podcast doing Doctor Who?
Because Vic made us.
It's always the answer.
Brought to you by Vic made us.
Brought to you by Gallifrey.
Yeah, I think it was a rhetorical question that's going to be ongoing.
What does rhetorical mean?
It means
I'm
when
just
you
kidding.
retour an area.
Really? When you retour an area? No.
No?
Rhetoric. It's rhetorical. It's...
Thanks, George.
Wink!
Thanks. George, I'm going to telegraph you.
It's weird because I'm in this place right now where I feel like flexing more of my Doctor Who knowledge muscle, but like don't think it would really serve
the greater good.
the greater good. Do you like Doctor Who, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah? Take it or leave it?
I enjoy that. I enjoy it like my boy likes it.
Yeah. But do you think you would
we sit down and watch? No, but so I wouldn't do much of this stuff.
Yeah.
To watch the 100 was a stretch.
What the hell were you doing?
Me. I don't know. I told Nora that intern Tony had mentioned it, and we said, let's check it out. Maybe it'll be good for the podcast. And I read a review of it, by the way. So Nora's completely sucked in. And the review of the first season, one of the guys from the quote from whatever Piper wrote for it said, it was so-and-so said, quote, can be forced, but will draw you in. And I was like, it sounds like a horrible trip to the bathroom, man.
Could be forced. We'll draw you in.
And then and that's where I'm like, Nora, good night. Hey, I'm going to bed. Good night.
So she's into it.
Yeah, no, I can hear it playing. And I run out and I'm like, have they showed the hunky mutant yet?
Wow. See, and that
there's elements. So it's boring. So what happens is they cut in and out of the commercial breaks. There's a ship floating in the air, and it's got its gravity circle thing going on. And they go back down to Earth, and you basically got Lord of Flies with giant weird snakes, acid rainstorms, strange flocks of birds, and it's like, I guess someone had to use some genre to write about kids.
Yeah.
But these kids are stupid and totally fake. And that's the problem with YA. Apparently, maybe on the mind of an adolescent, it does something different, unless it's all Illuminati brainwashing.
I don't know if those shows gain traction, though. Like I think last year, for example, there were like 7 different shows about time travel because people are like, are gonna want to see time travel, all right? And then none of them are back.
22-year-olds who were like rose all day, and then they, I don't know, they go and put cotton between their toenails while they watch this bullshit.
Well, I think that you mentioned the upfronts, and I was listening to something on NPR about the upfronts and how a lot of the advertisers were just like, this is bullshit, man. It's like there was nothing new to entice like the key demographics, so almost all of it was to cater towards like the older people that it's like safe. So here's some military rah-rah shows. Let's bring back Roseanne. Let's bring back Will and Grace. Let's and there was no like because basically those 18 to 34-year-olds, sorry guys, fucking Netflix has got them. They're in Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime land. We don't know what to do, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna
go to the Staples, a graying CSI detective.
Here's a spin-off
it out with a nice chin.
Yeah, here's a spin-off of Big Bang Theory. with a little version of Sheldon, like shit like that. And
Tiny Bang.
Tiny Bang.
Tiny
little
Bangs.
Bang.
Tiny Bangs. I was flipping. Where was I recently where I had cable? Somewhere, but I looked. It's a spot came on for Big Bang Theory, and I was like, that's kind of a fat old college student, isn't it? I was like, dude, are they college students anymore? No. Okay. I was like, how do we? It's not like the Bart Simpson theory.
No, they're
like,
supposed to be.
Hey, oh God, studying's hard.
They're supposed to be like physicists.
Oh, they're physicists now.
I watched a great clip where somebody had taken a whole episode of that show and just removed the laugh track. And I saw a clip of it, and it was like painful to watch. It's just like where there are obviously supposed to be jokes and supposed to be laugh, and there's just silence and everything. It's just so funny that still comes across. And when we're left with like that for the most part, something that's a little bit more creative, a little bit more heartfelt. Whatever it is, if it's science fiction, awesome,
I'll say this much: there's no doubt about it. If there was space in my life, I'd be cranking through the 2005 and up Doctor Who's.
Yeah, I think I believe you.
They're
would be.
working.
You would because you.
I stayed up and watched and finished the 2-part one that I started last time I was there.
Is that the
Silencers?
Silence
one. Yeah.
Oh man,
the River Song pops
River
up,
Song
and so that.
Those are some great.
And maybe there's something about our modern beats that work differently. Modern television beats.
You mean the newer episodes compared to the older ones?
Yeah,
it's a totally different style of storytelling.
And I do like. The older one reminds me of like enjoying a BBC show.
Yeah,
because I do get the jokes and stuff. He's got a quick wit.
Oh yeah, especially Tom Baker. I mean, Tom Baker's he was kind of the funny.
With Dr. Five is Jefferson Davis.
Peter Davison.
Jefferson Davis.
Pretty good. Peter Davison.
I'm not okay to drive. Clearly. And the 5th Doctor is Jefferson Davis. He was really just into agriculture. He did not want slaves.
Sure.
No, it's a total agrarian thing. The Union damned him.
It's all about... Sorry, guys. Apparently slavery was really, really cool at a certain period in time.
Really? And that's where you go?
I don't know.
To the crickets?
Yeah, crickets.
Ladies and gentlemen, email us at bddsci-fi.com if you think George just committed a hate crime.
I'm going to delete that
little
segment.
Really? Oh, Tony, don't delete it. Intern Tony, do not delete this. The truth must be told.
So, there should be... there's a lot of talk right now about the next Doctor. Peter Capaldi is... His run's over.
Peter Capaldi?
Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi.
The current Doctor.
Oh, I thought that was the new Doctor.
No. Well, he's the current Doctor.
I know what you're going to do here. I remember.
There's a whole thing about him.
It
might be a woman this time around.
No.
Might be.
It's going to be something else. It's going to be that dude from The Wire.
Maybe. Oh, Idris Elba? No, he's not going to come back to TV.
What are you, People Magazine?
No, man.
Get
he's not.
out of here. Get out of here.
He's a movie star. He's not going to... No, I would be really surprised.
You wouldn't honor the Doctor?
Yeah,
I'm the Doctor.
He's British, It was funny.
Welcome to
the
Doctor.
No, he's got a British accent.
How's he sound?
It sounds a little bit like
this.
Sounds like this.
No.
Chim chimmery.
Folks, if you've made it this far, you can stick through to our bonus hour of Doctor Who, because we're going deep now, folks.
When I shake hands with you. Yeah. That's what they all sound like. That's what the Doctors sound like. Yeah, they sound like that. Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Scottish.
No. Is that a Beatles? What is it?
The Beatles. I love the Beatles. Also British.
Yeah.
Why
is this a real Nintendo thing?
Yeah.
But that's a real clock that looks like a prop up there, huh?
Why you gotta be so American, Kevin? All right? It's a big, blue, beautiful world, man. All right? It's not all about Texas.
What are you doing here, man?
I don't know.
What are you doing here?
I don't know, man. I can hear... Oh, I can hear the TARDIS noise. All right. Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Is that your ringtone?
The sound.
Can that be your ringtone?
It is now.
You can make it a ringtone.
I gotta go do that.
All right.
Good night, nurse.
Good night, nurse.